How far we're going with this? Like I said in previous videos, some bad strategic decisions, some poor choices, and then we also violated the order in the operating rounds in a way that is going to be difficult for me to do correctly. But I do want to keep playing. Why? Well, largely because of the start of a new company, see how that works. In most XX games, you throw a new company out at the end of the game, and it's a really iffy thing. And I want to see if that is the case here. Also, what it can buy. I think we had enough cash to throw together the E-train if we do this with the bond and with my cheating and everything. Without my cheating, it couldn't be done because I could neither release the shares nor sell a bond off for that extra money. I would have to buy the train out of pocket because you're not allowed to do those things, from what I can tell, until you hit the economic phase. Now, the bond is an iffier thing. The bond maybe you are allowed to do. And the bond is the key piece. I don't think I actually have to sell shares, but we'll see. There's actually a restriction. I forgot about this because I just came back to the game. There's a restriction on not being able to sell shares on your first operating round. There's no such restriction on bonds. So the bond is actually absolutely necessary here. Actually, the first company to run doesn't have anything to, doesn't have any train to run, so it's going to go back. I'm going to figure out the economics. And again, this is cheating that I do often, but that doesn't actually hurt things. Because what I'm doing is prefiguring whether or not I can spend money to lay track, although I probably just want to lay down here. In fact, well, this upgrade could be of interest. So I don't know. But it's upgrading to something like this that would be multi-track. But again, throwing a dot in there could be valuable. All right. So what do we have? We have to come up with 800 lira for the E token. And that's the first one. And now all the rest go down to 550. 800 lira for the E token. That's going to be 1350. Let me count and see. I'm sure I need the bond. Enough money to do anything interesting with it, so we laid this piece of track. I don't know if that's wise. Because purple can lay that track. Purple's my buddy. Of course, somebody else could steal that piece of track. It's probably only one in the game. But purple cannot lay this piece of track, which is the one we actually want, because we don't have enough money to upgrade. Now, purple could have upgraded this, but they have no cash, so no dice there. Central, there's not a lot of places I can put a dot down, so we're going to build one of them right now. I put aside my 550 that I'm going to need to deal with the bond, but that means I got enough money to lay any kind of track I want there. Now, unfortunately, I can't lay any type I want. I am actually stuck laying, oh jeez, now here comes the stupidity. So I have to pick something that has both kinds of track in it. All the yellow cities are like this, and there aren't a lot of them in the game. But I'm going to want to come in with narrow track and go out with narrow track. So I don't want to put this because that'll preclude that entirely. But, you know, let's see. So this would be bad. This would be bad, yeah. So I've got to find a piece of track that doesn't go this way, but comes in with narrow gauge track. I find this really obnoxious. Like, I'm in the mountains. Obviously, I want double narrow. Why is that not available? And it just isn't. For 22, that paid out. Move the marker forward because we're below 220. It's not going to get much higher than that, but... And we throw the 550 bucks, cleaning the bond up, and now... Okay, the important thing about that is that moves me forward another space, and now I clean up the mess that I made trying to move things with one hand. Remembering to put these damn things down, pain in the butt. You know, again, I'm sure playing it a couple of times you get really used to it, but right now it's the first game where I've had to do that, and I was like, yeah, I gotta upgrade it. Wait, what? That's in the middle of the mountains. What's up? Well, I looked at some of the others. I think we're good. It was just those couple hexes that I missed. And now, looks like we're on to the pinky. I'd love to lay this track down, but pink's got some issues. They got a bond out, and that's going to cost 80 bucks to lay because there's no way... I don't think there are any tokens that just add narrow track again, even though that's all I want is to add this piece of track in. I don't think there's anything like that. I'm not going to go pawing through to see. There's too many different tracks in this game, but that's my understanding. And I mean, if there was just narrow, it would only be 20 bucks, and maybe that's worth it. But I was losing money and probably still, well, so here's the thing. If I can get this connection going from here, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fucked. You know, right? I got no way to make it all the way over there except by blasting through more mountains up here. So I've got to try to figure out how to make that R6H work. Now, somebody pointed out that this is the worst company in the game. And it's definitely in a less interesting place than anyone else. It is sitting pretty far from anything that makes money. So I would have to say, yes, it looks like it is. What they were advising was that people would buy it, run the shit out of it early, like to destroy it, and somehow try to get it closed so that you just didn't lose too much money on it or something. I think I would just not buy it, to tell you the truth. Although obviously in my game, this was the worst company in the game. It's not in a terrible location. It just could never afford a train. And it would not have been allowed to buy one ever during the game, except for the fact that I was cheating. So, there you have it. Actually, it would be allowed to eventually. Sure. Because... first round, it couldn't do anything. Second round, it could release shares, I think. The bond is limited, but I think releasing shares is not. It's hard to remember because, yeah, it looks like releasing shares is allowed. So I would have been able to sell enough shares in the second operating round that in the third operating round I could buy a trade. That's still one hell of a hit. Not as bad as I took, but pretty nasty. Actual runs, here's the question. Right now I'm running this, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to there. That's it. Can't do better. I mean, you know, if I branch out in another direction or whatever, I still can't do better. But if I got this up, I could. So, are there any tiles that I can play here that would upgrade to just... I don't think so. I don't think there's anything that'll upgrade just narrow track. I guess I'll go pawing through because I didn't want to look here because I don't care. I didn't end up using it, but now I'm actually going to. Another possibility, and that would only cost me 10 bucks if I could do that. Another possibility with this would cost me 40 bucks. I'm having trouble with words. Slurring speech. There's stuff going wrong with my brain. I feel like I've taken drugs or something, but like the last couple days. Maybe a good sign. So what do I have here? So this is 1, 2, 3, but then what? You know, there's nowhere really coming out of here. Syracuse is not that good, so I don't think I I don't think I'm terribly interested in making the triangle of love there. I do have access through here. Anything I can do from that? 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna head out this way. I don't see anything exciting. This might be able to upgrade, but I doubt it because all the upgrade track adds additional spurs coming out. It doesn't just let you, put the kind of track you want in play. And this wouldn't upgrade. So yeah, I think the question is whether I can do anything in Ragusa. And there's very little, so there is actually one route that would work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That would be my route. That'll cost me 40 for this and probably 40 for that. And I don't have a lot of cash. All city upgrades are going to be including normal track, because when you place the first city, they're all one of each track. When you place the second one, they're now all 2 of each track. And when you place the third one, they're all adding normal track on top of double track. So you always pay full value unless you have the studio for blasting through the mountains a little better. So that's the question. Do I want to pay $80 when I have no money for what kind of increase? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is $20. And instead it would be 4, 5, 6. It would be a $40 increase per run. Maybe. Yes, we do. And by going up to 14 a share with 5 shares in there, we were pulling, let's see, 50, $70, which is more than we're paying in interest. So if we were losing money before, we're not now. Maybe we weren't the ones that were. But it must have been us. We were at the low end of it. So at 50, 60, I don't know. Yeah, because it was in this range. It went from 13 to 14, but it was probably at 11 or 12 at one point. But anyway, I'm also making a little bit more, so my stock value is going up. At some point, I'm going to start swallowing because I want to get rid of that bond, get the additional stock value that can boost me above what I can run for from paying off the loan. I think that's how it works. But yeah, I'm also going to be making more money very shortly, a lot more money. So right now I'm making 14 a share. I will be making 4 more bucks, so 18 a share, and that'll allow me to push that stock value a little higher anyway. And then it gets stuck because there's just nowhere I can go with that train. Garibaldi has crazy ideas. Since I didn't get my dot there that I should have gotten. I spent to lay the track here. I think I'm going to get an electric train. Yeah. I think. So I built this. This is expensive, and I've got to build these too. So, I mean, none of this is going to be trivial, but that's okay. I could actually, go blasting through all kind of stuff, and that would be great. But my intention is, this is 90, this is 90, is to run the electric like that, which looks pleasing. And this kind of cuts off anyone else from cutting through the center with my 2 companies holding that. So it seems like a great idea. I don't know if there's enough time. But money-wise, I should be making what I made before. And then I figure out how I want to expend it. 180 wouldn't get me there without selling shares, so I paid out. I got 40% in the company pool anyway. I've got 400. Wow, does the retail want this instead? I mean, maybe, but I'm just wondering, because I got 50% of each, so that's not that big a deal. I think that I can make more money off of it with this. And here's why. I can actually run two trains. I can run the electric on whatever this magical route ends up being, and I can run the reverse train. It could hit here, but it can't do that if I'm running through there. So I'm going to get a reduction there unless I get the little hook here off of it. Okay. So what do I have? I have 400 and something bucks. This gives me another 500. So now I'm at 900 bucks. I'm going to temporarily give myself one of these for that. 900 bucks. What do I need? I need 1100. I need 200 bucks more. That means I have to release some shares, and I'll release a couple of shares at the same time. And that should get me enough money to get the e-token and another electric train. That's the problem. I couldn't just transfer that electric train. The token is with the company. I can buy more electric trains with that company. But that's not terribly useful. They're infinite diesels, right? You know? All right. So we paid out, we bought the choo-choo, and now we're on the low end of the stock market, and people are just looking and shaking their heads and saying, wow, what the fuck are you doing, dude? All right. This is a new game to me, so it doesn't really count, but this is something that kind of makes me happy when a game goes really, really poorly. This is how I kind of discovered one of my favorite tactics in 1830, which is to run a couple companies into the brown and then just hold on to them with like horrible situation, but like just 2 shares of the company in my hands, and then scoop it all up at once, just at the right moment. And that just at the right moment, that's the complicated part, is making sure that you get the priority that you need to do that. Otherwise, you end up with like 30 or 40% of your company, and you're kind of like, well, that was a lot of work to do it. But generally what you can do is you can leave the company in such bad shape that nobody would want to pick it up, but you have the savior sitting somewhere else that it's been feeding. And that's a lot of fun. Now, why 2 companies down there? Yeah, that's that's where it gets really ugly. Shitty point again, where I found another tile where I forgot to put the token on. So purple ran and paid out. Why did they pay out? I want to make sure I have cash in my pocket. So I paid the 50 out of pocket again for the bond. I still haven't decided. I mean, at some point I have to make that cut and take the swallow, but it's actually 2 swallows, right? Because it's at 29, and that's shitty. You know? On yellow, my run is improved significantly if I upgrade this space. All I want is a regular track cutting out of there. Unfortunately, I can't get that. So I would have to pay 40 bucks because, again, these guys, so actually this time I would only have to pay 10 bucks. But if I upgrade to one of these, and who knows, you know, what I'm allowed to upgrade and what there is and everything, that's going to run me 40 because that will include the regular track that I want. But right now I cannot add a piece of regular track to that. And again, it's you can't do what you want to do with the track pieces that the game provides. And it provides a whole lot of different track pieces, but they all kind of follow these rules that say, yeah, whatever you want to do, you're not going to succeed in, which I really find disturbing. Paying for the 10 bucks to build the narrow gauge track that I need to put before I put the track that I want in play. I run for 30. I'm going to swallow that. That's $300. 550 for my loan, and we'll get that loan back in a moment. And that paying off the loan puts me back up. And I think that's just worthwhile. Unfortunately, I do not have enough money to upgrade that piece of track afterwards. Yeah, nothing. I mean, I could delay a little longer. Ah, shit. All right, let's not do that. Have to do that because we have no more shares in the company treasury. So we will not get this additional $4 up to a 34 run. And that sucks, but that's life.